Okay, if you've ever tried to rent an apartment in a hot market, you know the absolute scramble it can be, right? Endless searches, racing to open houses, and of course, those mysterious, kind of unofficial bidding wars. But what if technology could just streamline that entire process into one single 15-minute live auction? Well, today we're going to take a look at a new system that's trying to do exactly that.
So, here's how we'll break it down. First, we'll look at the old rental race. Then we'll introduce this new bidding system, walk through how the auction actually works, check out the results they're claiming, and finally, we'll ask the big question: is this the future of renting? All right, first up, let's really set the stage. We need to understand the problem this tech is trying to solve, and that's the traditional rental market. And look, if you've been a part of it, whether you're a renter or a landlord, you know it can be a frustrating experience for pretty much everyone. And it really is a two-sided problem, no doubt. On one side, you've got landlords who are struggling to figure out the true market value of their property. I mean, they might list it too low and lose out on money, or they list it way too high and it just sits there empty. But then, on the other side, you've got tenants facing just intense competition, listings all over the place, and a first-come, first-served system that, let's be honest, often feels more like a lottery than a fair process. And all this inefficiency? It has real costs. For landlords, a foggy process can mean missing out on higher rents. And every single day a property sits vacant is a day of lost cash. And for tenants, it means hours, so many hours, of wasted time and all the stress of potentially losing a place you love for reasons you don't even get. So with that problem clearly laid out, we can now turn to the proposed solution, a brand new technology platform that's really designed to bring some order to all this chaos. At its heart, the concept is a live e-auction platform. You know, the simplest way to think about it is like an eBay, but for apartment rentals. It's a real-time system where tenants who are already pre-vetted can see exactly what other people are offering and then competitively bid for a property in a totally open online space. Now, the platform claims some pretty major benefits from this approach. It promises total transparency, so you're replacing those backroom deals with open bidding. It's aiming for serious efficiency, cutting down those empty periods for landlords and the long search times for tenants. And for the property owners, all that competitive bidding is designed to maximize the rental value while also giving them real data on what the market is actually willing to pay. Okay, that all sounds pretty compelling in theory, right? But how does it actually work in practice? Let's get into the nuts and bolts of the auction itself. So the whole thing happens in 4 pretty clear steps. First, tenants register on the platform and get a quick training session on the rules of the auction. Then, the landlords list their properties and set their minimum price and their terms. The main event, of course, is the live auction, where all those registered tenants can place their bids, and finally, the highest bidder wins and moves on to sign the lease. Simple as that. And here it is. This is the core promise of efficiency. That whole bidding process, which is usually the most stressful and drawn-out part of the old way, is condensed into a single 15-minute live event. All the guesswork, all the waiting, it's just gone, replaced by one decisive auction. So, the big question, does it actually work? Well, let's dive into the results that the company reported from its first pilot tests over in Dubai and Abu Dhabi. The first major claim is a big one, especially for property owners. According to their data, a staggering 92%, 92% of landlords who used this system got rental prices that were higher than what they were originally expected. But what about the renters? That's just as important, right? Well, the data also claims a huge benefit for them too. 85% of tenants who use the platform said it gave them a faster and way less stressful way to find a home. It literally replaced weeks of uncertainty with one quick, transparent process. And right here, you can see that value proposition for landlords in action. You've got the initial expected rent on the left, and then that taller bar on the right showing the higher rent they typically got through the auction. It's a pretty clear picture of that maximized value claim they're making. So with those results in mind, let's zoom out for a second and look at the bigger picture. What could a system like this actually mean for the rental market as a whole? So how do they make money? Well, the business model itself is pretty straightforward. It's basically a subscription service for landlords and property managers. They've got different tiers, basic, pro, and premium, and each one offers more features and data insights depending on the plan you choose. And that really brings us to the final critical question. On one hand, a system like this promises true transparency, true efficiency, letting the open market set the price. But on the other hand, Does turning renting into an auction just become a fast track to driving up prices, potentially making housing even less affordable for everyone? It's a huge question to think about as technology keeps reshaping one of the most fundamental parts of our lives, just finding a place to call home.